My name is Christoph Yao Gadese. I hold MPhils in Mathematics Education. I'm taking you through Math 101, Algebra and Trigonometry. We are on Unit 5, Indices, Logarithm, Binomial Theorem, and Sequences. We are going to start with Section 4, Applications of Binomial Theorem. Let's look at the section Objectives. By the end of this section, you should be able to A. Apply the binomial expansion for finding approximate values of numbers such as cube root of 9, square root of 2, and cube root of 3. B. Apply the binomial expansion to evaluate algebraic expressions. We want to look at how to use binomial theorem to do approximations. To do that, we will use some examples. Find the cube root of 1.02 correct to 3 decimal places. Now, we know that the cube root of a number is the same as that number exponent 1 out of 3. So if you have 1.02, you can also write it as 1 plus 0.02. So the cube root of 1.02 can be expanded as bracket opens 1 plus 0.02 bracket closed exponent 1 out of 3. We will then use the formula for binomial theorem for rational exponents to simplify this. And that formula says bracket opens 1 plus x bracket closed exponent r is equal to 1 plus rx plus r into bracket r minus 1 bracket closed all over 2 factorial x squared and so on. Using that formula, we will have 1 plus 0.02 into bracket exponent 1 out of 3 to be equal to 1 plus 1 out of 3 times 0.02, which is the x now, and then 1 out of 3 is the r, plus another r, which is 1 out of 3, into bracket 1 out of 3 minus 1, bracket closed, all over 2 factorial. Then we bring the x squared, and that is 0.02 squared. When we simplify all this, we will get 1 plus 1 over 150 minus 1 over 22500 and so on. We want to get up to the third term because of the number of terms of approximations we are to do. And so when you simplify, you will get 1.0066222, which is approximately 1.007 as required. Again, we use the binomial theorem to evaluate algebraic expressions. Given that y is so small and that y squared and higher powers of y can be neglected, find the value of bracket open 1 minus 2y bracket closed exponent 2 out of 3 times another bracket opens 4 plus 5y bracket closed exponent 3 out of 2. So we are to simplify this, which is an algebraic expression. So since we have two terms, the first bracket multiplying the other one, we'll do the first one and then we'll do the second one, after which we multiply the two answers. So let's concentrate on the first one first. And in that first one, our 1 will still be 1 in the formula. The formula is 1 plus rx plus r into bracket r minus 1 over 2 factorial x squared and so on. So in this case, our 1 is still 1, but our x will be negative 2y, and our r, which is the exponent, is 2 out of 3. So putting it into the formula, we have 1 plus, then the r is 2 out of 3, then our x is negative 2y, then plus r again, 2 out of 3, Then we open brackets. In the bracket, we have 2 out of 3 minus 1 bracket closed all over 2 factorial. Then the x is minus 2y squared. Then plus, we have the r, which is 2 out of 3 into bracket 2 out of 3 minus 1. Then bracket closed, another bracket opens, r, which is 2 out of 3, then minus 2 all over 3 factorial. Then in bracket, we have negative 2y exponent, all exponent 3. So the negative 2y is in bracket and it carries an exponent of 3. When we simplify, the first one we have our 1. The second one will give us negative 4y out of 3. Then the third one will give us negative 4 out of 9y squared. And then the fourth one will give us plus 32 over 81 y cubed. Then we can write it as 1 minus 4y over 3 because according to the question, we are to neglect y squared and higher powers of x. So 4 over 9y squared and 32 over 81 y cubed are neglected. So we leave the answer at 1 minus 4y over 3. We move to the next stage and solve the second bracket. Let's consider the second part of the question, which says bracket opens 4 plus 5y bracket closed exponent negative 3 out of 2. We know to apply the formula for rational exponents. The first term in the bracket should be 1 and the second term should be x. And so we have to find a way of making the first term to be 1. And we learned that to do that, you factor the first term out and use it to divide both terms in the bracket. So if we factor 4 out, we factor it out with the exponent. And then when we divide 4 by 4, we will get 1. Then we divide 5y by 4, we get 5y out of 4. All exponent negative 3 over 2. Then whatever we factor out is out there. Then we bring parentheses and we start the expansion. So here our 1 is 1, but our x is 5y over 4. And our r, which is the exponent, is negative 3 over 2. So we do 1 minus rx. R is negative 3 over 2. That is why it is minus there. Then x is 5y over 4. So that is why we have 1 minus 3 over 2 times 5y over 4. Then plus our r again, which is negative 3 out of 2, into bracket r minus 1, which is negative 3 over 2 minus 1, all over 2 factorial. Then that will be multiplied by 5y over 4x squared. Then we can use the term we factored out to multiply through. So if we use it to multiply 1, we'll get 4 exponent negative 3 over 2. Then we can also use it to multiply the second term, which is 15 over 8. We may not continue to the third term because we are to neglect y squared and higher powers of x, higher powers of y. So we have 1 out of 8. If you simplify 4 exponent negative 3 over 2, you get 1 out of 8. And then if you use it to multiply 15y out of 8, you get 15y over 64. So we have the second answer now. We are going to use this answer to multiply the first answer we get when we get to the next stage. Multiplying the two answers that we have, we will have bracket opens 1 minus 4y out of 3 bracket closed, which was for the first answer, the first bracket, then times 1 out of 8 minus 15y out of 64, which is for the second bracket. So we do the expansion. We use the first term in the first bracket to multiply the second bracket. Then we come back to use the second term in the first bracket to multiply the second bracket. So 1 times 1 out of 8 will give us 1 out of 8. 1 times 15y out of 64 will give us 15y out of 64 minus. We are done with the first one, which is 1. We move to the second one, the second term. Negative 4y out of 3 times 1 out of 8 will give us y out of 6 negative. So minus y out of 6. Then negative 4y over 3, we use it to multiply negative 15y over 64, negative, negative. So that will give us positive. So we have 5y squared over 16. And again, we are to ignore y squared. So we ignore the fourth term and simplify the first 3 terms. And so we have 1 out of 8 minus 77y out of 192 as the answer. We hope you will get more examples on this and try so that you become a master of it.